Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You can take over, Mataji. Live. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Hare Krishna. Pranam, Mataji.
Okay. So, Hare Krishna, everybody. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. You can repeat this.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva
Narayanam Namaskrityam Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire.
Devim
Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye.
Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshva
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki
Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki
Mukam Karoti Vachalam
Mukam Karoti Vachalam
Pangum Langayate Giram
Pangum Langayate
Girim.
Yatkrupatamaham Vande
Yatkrupātamaham vande
Paramananda Madhavam
Paramananda Madhavam
Yatkrupatamaham Vande
Yatkrupātamaham vande
Paramananda Madhavam
Paramananda Madhavam.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Mataji, pranamalu.
Pranam,
Hare
Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody. Today, so you are in chapter 2, right? So chapter
Yes,
2
Mataji.
is about divinity and divine service. You must have already seen up to 20, sloka number 26, right? So what have we seen until shloka number 26? We'll quickly go through so that you will know the continuity of the chapter. The good thing is you're doing a class every day, so you it's pretty continuous for you. It's not once a week, it's not twice a week, it's every day. So that's a good thing. So let's just go through the first 26 shlokas really quick so that we can continue and finish the rest of them. So in the second shloka, Ugrashrava, the son of Roma Harshala, which is Suta Goswami, right? So he is, so if you remember all the sages, they have asked all these 6 questions, right? So can anybody tell me what the 6 questions are, like one at a time? What's the first question that they've asked?
What is the ultimate good in general?
I'm sorry, Mataji, can you repeat that again? I couldn't hear clearly.
What is the good for people in general?
What is the
Ultimate good for people in general?
what is good for people, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay.
Third question is why
Okay, we have to do, I'm sorry, Hare Krishna, we got to raise your hand so that I can ask. So we have to do one at a time, so it will be more clear. If you raise a hand, we'll see. Okay, Prananandini Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. What's the first question is, what's the ultimate good for people in general? Second question is, what's the essence of all the revealed scriptures? Third is, why did Krishna appear in the womb of Devaki? And fourth is the Purusha avatars, about the creation, Purusha avatara. And then fifth is about Lila avatars. And sixth is, where does all the religious principle take shelter after Krishna, the Lord Krishna, returned to his abode.
So
Eternal
that the last question is, where is Dharma residing now after Lord Krishna? Where is Dharma residing at this time, right? So that is the last question. Okay, very good. So these are the 6 questions that these sages have asked Suta Goswami. Suta Goswami is very happy about the questions that have been asked by the sages. So he says, let me first offer and he started to reply to all those questions. And they said, because you have listened directly from the great Sukadeva Goswami, you are the right person to explain to us the answers to all these questions. That's why we have selected you to explain to us the answers for these questions. That is what all the sages have asked Suta Goswami. So Suta Goswami said, okay, I'm really happy about the questions that these sages have asked, right? Because they're the right questions, he says. So he says, first, before I say anything, let me offer my obeisances to all the the people that deserve obeisances. And the first person he thanks is Sukadeva Goswami, because he is his guru, and from him he has heard this Bhagavatam, right? So he talks about Sukadeva Goswami, how he has left home without undergoing any of this, the sacred thread ceremony that all the Brahmin families have to do. So he says, I don't even want that. And he left home. And then, he says, I don't want to be caught in this materialistic world. That's what Sukadeva Goswami says, and he goes away. And then Vyasa, his father Vyasadev, goes after him crying, my son, please come back. So we've seen all that, and how Vyasadeva has suffered from the separation from his son. So that's the second shloka. And in third shloka, he offers obeisances again to Sukadeva Goswami himself. And he says he is the spiritual master of all the sages, son of Vyasadeva. And because of his great compassion, he has explained this Vedic knowledge to everybody, is what he says. And the fourth shloka, he says, before reciting this Bhagavatam, everyone should offer. That is what we said with that shloka, right? Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottam. So Narayana, first Namaskara goes to Narayana, then Naram Chaiva Narottam. So that is Naranarayana Rishi. So next is that he is the supermost human being. Then Devim Saraswati. So Saraswati, goddess Saraswati. Vyasam, the Vyasadeva, who is the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is the next obeisance. So that is the fourth shloka that we have seen. And then in fifth shloka, he says, he's addressing all the sages, and he's saying, I have been justly questioned by you. Your questions are so worthy because they all relate to Lord Krishna, and they're so relevant to the welfare of this world. Only questions of this sort are capable of satisfying the self. So if one has to get complete self-satisfaction, they have to know the answers to all these 6 questions. Only then really a person can be completely satisfied. This is what he has said in 5th shloka. So he's praising the questions that all these sages have asked. That is the 5th one. In 6th one, he's saying the supreme occupation, dharma, for all the humanity is that by which men can attain. So he's answering the question now. The sixth shloka is telling what dharma is. He's saying, what is dharma? The dharma for all the humanity is whatever man can attain by loving devotional service to the Lord. That is the dharma for all the human beings. Such devotional service must be nirhetukam, he says. It has to be no reason. There should be no reason for bhakti. You shouldn't say, oh, if I have bhakti, I'll get mukti. That's also not real bhakti. So there should be no reason. That's how it should be natural. That is called nirhetukam aha, and then continuous ahaitukam. That means there is no interruption in the bhakti. No, like we have bhakti this morning and no bhakti this evening. That is not continuous. Always, no matter what you're doing, always there should be God in your every thought and action. So everything we do, we have to think, Bhagavad Prityardham and Bhagavad Arpitam. That is how we should do. What's Bhagavad Prityardham? Anything we do should be in a manner which pleases the God. That's how we want to do things. And then Bhagavad Arpitam. Anything we do, we have to offer to the God, no matter what it is, small task or big task. Anything we do, we offer to Him. Anything we do it in a way that pleases the Lord, right? So if we do it in a way that pleases the Lord, that means we are doing it in the right way, right? So that is what he's saying. That is the dharma for anybody. So for all of humanity, what is dharma? To do bhakti, to be in that bhakti mode, always be in the bhakti mode. What is bhakti mode? Not bhakti in the morning and no bhakti. Bhakti mode should be without a reason. If I have bhakti, I'll get this. If I do puja, I'll get this. That should not be the motive. It should be natural. It should come from your heart. How do you love your family? How do you love your people, like your children or your parents or your spouse or your sisters or brothers? It comes naturally, right? So same way, even more than that, we should love God, right? So that is how it should be. With no reason, you should love the Lord, and then it should be continuous. So what did they use? This is an important shloka. So we should see. So savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje ahaitukai apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So savai pumsham paro dharmo. So for everybody, the dharma for the whole mankind is yado bhaktir adhokshaje. Adhokshaje is another name for Krishna. So bhakti towards Krishna is the dharma for all mankind. He said that is the dharma. What is the dharma? Bhakti towards adhokshaja, towards Krishna. How should that bhakti be? Ahaitukai, no reason, without any expectation, causeless. That is the meaning of ahaituki. So the bhakti should be causeless. And then apratihata, unbroken, and continuously that bhakti should be there. Not for some time and then, sometime you pray and then you're done with bhakti. That's not how it should be. So, ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So that means that bhakti which makes your heart completely satisfied, completely happy. That is the real bhakti. That continuous causeless devotion, just devotion for the sake of devotion, love for the sake of loving God, without any expectation. That pure love for the Lord is what makes you suprasidati. That means completely satisfied. That is the dharma for the whole mankind. Loving God without any expectation, with no reason, continuously is what makes a person completely satisfied. That is why this is the dharma for the whole mankind. That is what 1.2.6 says, and this is an important shloka. So it's one of the recitation slokas also. So that is what the sixth one is saying. And the next one says, by rendering devotional service to Bhagwan, to God, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment. So once we develop this kind of bhakti, then we have gnana. Causeless knowledge is the gnana that we need. So there is no, I have to get this gnana for this purpose, for that purpose. This is causeless gnana. And this gnana is what gives us detachment from the world, that vairagya, which is important to reach the Satchitananda stage, or to know the self-realization, God realization. That is what the detachment gives us. That is what the gnana gives us. That is the causeless knowledge. So this bhakti leads us to that stage, is what the 7th shloka says. 8th shloka, the occupation activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they don't provoke attraction. So no matter what you do, finally what the meaning of the shloka for 8th shloka is, no matter what you do, if any act that you do, if it does not give you attraction towards the Lord, then it is a waste, they're saying. So no matter what you do, that act should give you attraction towards the Lord. That is the why anything we do, we have to say, Bhagavad Prityardham Bhagavadarpitam. So whatever you do, you offer to the Lord. Whatever you do it in a way that pleases the Lord. Okay, so that's what the 8th shloka. If you don't do like that, then it's a waste of your activity, they say. That's what 8th shloka is saying. 9th shloka, all occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimately liberation, right? So they should never be performed for material gain. So we shouldn't think that if we expect something, we know what happens. We all have taken Bhagavad Gita. So we'll have a rebirth, right? So that is the reason anything we do should be meant for liberation. So furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense satisfaction, sense gratification, they're saying. So if you do anything, you may get some gain from it, but just don't use it only to satisfy your senses. Do it for the sake of love. Do it for the sake of the Lord. Doing it for the sake of the Lord is nothing but pure love for Lord, which automatically gives you pure love for all mankind, for anything. So if you love God, the person who really loves God can love anything in the world. He can love all mankind. That is the quality of a pure devotee, of a Shuddha Bhakta, right? So that's why they're saying that do not use your material gain just for your own sense gratification, is what that shloka is saying. And then 10th shloka, so we should also not just have desires to gratify our senses. I mean, that means don't be selfish, don't be self-centered, don't just do things to gratify your own senses. One should desire a healthy life, self-preservation, since a human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute. I mean, you have to take care of your body or all those things, of course, because with this body only we can actually know what the absolute, we can realize God, we can realize the self, we can realize the absolute truth. We can't do that without this body. So we have to take care of ourselves, but nothing else should be the goal of one's works. But you have to do it in a way to achieve this final destination, but not just to be here and keep on gratifying your senses. So that's what they're saying. That means just lead a life that, for the sake of living, but not to just always satisfy your material desires. 11th is learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth. They call this non-dual substance. So Bhagwan can be realized as Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. This is also, I think, one of the recitation slokas, which is important. Bhagavan. So there's 3 ways that you can vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabhyate. So those who, they say there is Brahman, there is Paramatma, there is Bhagavan. 3 ways you can worship the Lord, is what they're saying. And next, the serious inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. So those who are really inquisitive, those who are really serious with knowledge and detachment, they realize that this absolute truth that we are talking about, that truth is realized only by rendering devotional service. What kind of devotional service? How the devotional service that they have heard from Vedanta Shruti. Shruti means Vedas, right? So whatever the Vedas, from the Vedas, what they have learned about bhakti, how to develop bhakti, all those things, that is how from the Vedas they get all the information, and that is how they develop the knowledge to realize the absolute truth. From the Vedas they get that knowledge. The serious people, they really, if they want to, if somebody is serious, somebody really wants to know what the absolute truth is, they will depend on the knowledge from the Shrutis, from the Vedas, they say. That's what they're emphasizing, the importance of the Vedas in Shloka 12. Then next Shloka, among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to castes and orders of life is to please the personality of Godhead. So we know that Bhagavad Gita says that God has divided us into four sects based on the gunas, not by birth, right? What are they? We have like Brahmin, Shudra, Vaishya, and Kshatriya, right? So they're all based on, that is called Varnashram Dharma, we can say. So whatever duties we have to do according to that, what is the purpose of that duty? Not just to please and lead a comfortable life and enjoy the life. They all are meant to please the God, right? So that's why we use that term, Bhagavat Prityardham. That should be like a thing in our mind. We should keep on thinking about that word. So everything we do should be Bhagavad Prityardham, should be to please the Lord. That's what they're saying. No matter what you do, as a Shudra or Brahmin or Kshatriya or whatever it is you are, whatever you do should please the Lord, is what that is saying. Next, they're saying with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear, glorify, remember, worship the personality of Godhead. He is the protector of all the devotees. So we always, with one point attention, we should do Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, and all these things. So this is also an important shloka, that shloka 14. Tasmadekena manasa bhagavan satvatam patihi Shrutvaya kirtitavyascha dheya pujyascha nityada. So for with one pointed concentration, you have to think of Lord. How? You have to Shrotram, Kirtanam, Dhyanam, and Puja. So all these are the ways to think about God. And then with sword in hand, intelligent men cut through binding knots by remembering the God. Therefore, who will not pay attention to his message? So those who are intelligent, really, those who are Vivek, those who have that Viveka, they always remember the Lord. So the personality, Bhagavan is Paramatma. He is in everyone's heart. He is the benefactor of the truthful devotee. He cleanses the desire for material enjoyment. So if you are engrossed in that bhakti, automatically it cleanses your desire for the material enjoyment, and then it develops the love towards the Lord. And by regular attending the classes on Bhagavatam, by rendering pure service to the devotee. That means there are two kinds of Bhagavatam, right? What are they? Can anyone tell me? Can you raise your hand? Or speak one person.
Person Bhagavatam and book
Bhagavatam.
Very good. Yeah. So book Bhagavatam and person Bhagavatam. So they're talking about those two here, right? So by regular attendance of Bhagavatam class, which is the book Bhagavatam, or by rendering service to pure devotee, which is the person Bhagavatam. So you either hear the Bhagavatam or you render service to a pure devotee. This is all. If you do one of these things, then any trouble in your heart is completely destroyed. That means you will be in peace if you either listen or you do service to person Bhagavatam. So this, they're saying all the troubles will be destroyed. And then this loving service to the Bhagavan, who is praised with transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. That means if you listen to Bhagavatam or do service to a devotee, automatically you're in peace, and you also develop this love for God, is what they say. So as soon as this love for God is established, then all these bad thoughts like passion, ignorance, lust, desire, all these Arishad Vargas, they say, right? Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, all these things will disappear from the heart once you start loving service to the Lord and through Bhagavatam. Then all these other bad qualities will disappear from the heart. The devotee will be established in goodness, and he becomes completely happy and pure. So that's what that shloka says. So in that way, once they're established in that complete goodness, then what happens? They're saying step by step how this Bhagavatam takes us to that pure stage is what all these shlokas are saying so clearly. So then you will be, so once you start Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Dhyanam, Puja, and all those things, it will give you the love in your heart. It will drive away all the bad qualities, and you will be established in goodness. Once, the next shloka, once you get established in such goodness, then the mind will be in constant connection and in constant contact with the Lord, and it gains positive scientific knowledge. That is God's Satchitananda Tattva. You are in contact with that, and you gain that Tattva by, and then you are in the stage of liberation from all material association. So you will be in that Tattva where you are free and where you are, there is no attachment. So you're detached from all this material association, which means complete peace, right? All the material things only causes worries and anxiety and all these things. When you are free and when you are detached, then you have no worry. You are always in peace. So you're detached and you're completely in connection with the Lord. So the knot in the heart is pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. So that bandha is pierced, and all the bandhas will disappear into pieces, they're saying. So the chain of the fruitive actions, which means birth and death cycle is terminated when one sees the self as master, which means the Atma is the master. So when you are established in that Atma, then all the, you're free from that birth and death cycle. So therefore, all the transcendentalists, since the beginning of time, all these people, those who have rendered this bhakti seva to the Lord with great delight, because they have been in great delight, such devotional service is enlivening to the self, they're saying. That means it's this bhakti will just put you in that self-realization mode. So God is indirectly associated with the three modes of material nature, which are sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, right? So God is not directly associated with them, but is indirectly associated with them. Why? Just for the material world creation, maintenance, and destruction only, that Shakti, the three modes are used. But he never is involved himself. He is free from those three modes, right? So God does not have the influence of these three modes. That is his indirect Shakti. So he accepts the three quality forms of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So the three modes are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So that is his three qualitative forms. Bhagavan's qualitative forms are Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva in the form of for the Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas. So of these three forms also, all human beings can derive ultimate benefit from Vishnu, because Vishnu is the form of Sattva Guna, right? Shiva is Tamo Guna, and then Brahma is Rajoguna, because his creation and so desires and all that. So out of these three also, human beings can they can derive benefit from the Sattva form of the Lord, which is Vishnu, they're saying. In 24, they're comparing. So firewood is actually transformation of the earth, but smoke is better than the raw wood. And fire is still better than the smoke, because from fire we can derive the benefits of the gnana. So that is like through Vedic sacrifices. So similarly, passion means Rajoguna is better than Tamoguna, but Sattvaguna is the best, because goodness is what leads us into self-realization. So they're comparing Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas with fire and smoke and firewood. So smoke is better than firewood, and then fire is better than smoke, the actual fire. Like that, Raja guna better than Tamo guna, and then Sattva guna is the best of all. Why? Because Sattva guna is what leads us into absolute truth. So in last shloka, that's all the sages rendered service to the God due to his existence. Because God is above the three modes of material nature. That is the speciality of the Lord. Whereas humans are always engaged in the three modes, some sort. Even if it is Sattva guna, it is still the three modes. Only when we go beyond the three modes, then only we can establish the contact with the Lord, because that is Bhagwan's nature. What is he? Nirguna. Nirguna means not somebody with no guna. Nirguna means somebody who is not, who is not affected by these three gunas. He is above the three gunas. So when a person can go to that state, and he can go above beyond the three gunas, that is when he would, with experience, know what the tattva of Bhagavan is, what that Satchitananda nature is. He would know, because Bhagavan's nature is beyond the three modes, right? So whoever goes beyond the three modes, they are the ones who understand, who realize Atma, who realize the nature of the Lord. Oh, this is the pure nature. This is the nature that's beyond the three modes. This is how the Lord is always pure and, free from all these qualities, bad qualities. That is how they realize through experience, not just by reading, not just by listening. You have to go yourself and experience that stage. That is when you can get in contact with the Lord, because you have experienced the same pureness that the Lord has in him. So that's what they're saying. So whoever follows great authorities is also eligible for liberation from the material world. Now, shloka number 26. Those who are serious about liberation are certainly non-envious, and they respect all of them. So now they're saying the qualities of these Shuddha Bhaktas. Those who go beyond the three modes, how are their qualities? How are they? They are serious about liberation. They're not envious towards anybody. They respect everybody. We've seen this in Bhagavad Gita, right? Same thing they're reiterating here in Bhagavatam. Yet, these people, they reject the horrible and costly forms of demigods and worship only the all-blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. So let us see what the shloka says. Mumukshavo ghora rupan hitva bhutapati natha narayana kalashanta bhajanti hi anasuyavaha. So those who are serious about limitation are certainly not envious, and they respect everybody. But they reject the horrible and ghastly forms of the demigods and worship only the all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portions. So the Lord, who is the original person of the Vishnu, he expands himself. We have seen that, right? So they worship these plenary forms of the Vishnu, they're saying. The separated... So the Vishnu Tattvas are the worshipful objects of service. So all the demigods who are the demigods, where do they get their power from? They get it from the Supreme Lord. So they're also separate parts of the same Supreme Lord. They don't belong to, but they don't belong to the categories of Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattvas are only living beings equally as powerful as the original form of God. And they have different categories of power but they're all separated. Demigods do not have as much power as the Vishnu Tattva gods, they're saying. So one should never classify the Vishnu Tattvas or the plenary portions of Narayana as the same as others. They are different. The Vishnu Tattva portion of the Lord is different from regular demigods. That's what they're saying. So if anyone thinks that they're all the same, that is kind of an offense, they're saying. In this Kali Yuga, lot of people commit such kind of unlawful offenses and they think both categories are the same, but they are not. That's what they're saying. So the separate parts and parcels have different positions. Some of them are Kala Bhairava, Smashana Bhairava, Shani, Mahakali, Chandika. All these demigods, people worship them, but they are not equivalent to the Vishnu Tattva lords. And then other demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Surya, Ganesha, and similar deities, they are worshipped by mostly people with Rajoguna, urged on by the desire for material enjoyment. But those who are actually in the mode of goodness, that is in Sattva Guna, they only worship Vishnu Tattva, he's saying. Vishnu Tattva means who? Vishnu Tattva means Narayana, Damodara, Vamana, Govinda, Athokshaja, is what here Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. So that is the difference. Because the shloka has said they do not worship the ghastly forms of demigods. They only worship the all blissful forms of Lord Vishnu and his plenary portion. So here, if we think, the point is, do not worship the gods or demigods just to satisfy your material desires. That is the point. When you are saying worship Lord Vishnu and his plenary forms, that means you have to aspire for something more than this material desires. You have to aspire for spirituality. You have to aspire for self-realization, for God realization. That is the kind of prayer you should aspire for, not just prayers for, pray this God, we can get this, we can get that. Not this simple things, All these things you will pray and you will get, but these benefits are temporary. You're only going to enjoy them as long as you have your body. Once the body is gone, everything is gone. But the spiritual benefit you get from worshipping Lord will come with you even after this body. That is the way we can understand this shloka. Okay, and that's shloka number 26. I mean, we don't have to think, oh, so we don't have to worship, so we shouldn't worship this God, that God. That's not the point. The point is your worship should not be destined towards material things. It should be towards spirituality. That is the way you have to worship the Lord. Rajastama prakrithyaha samashila bhajanti vai pitrubhuta prajeshadin Shri Aishwarya Prajepshavaha. So those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance, they worship those in the same category. So here they are saying about the three gunas, how people with these three gunas show their worship, how their worship is targeted, on what it's targeted. So if you are in passion or if we are in tamoguna, that means rajoguna, tamoguna, we worship Pitru, forefathers, other living beings, demigods, all these things who are in charge of cosmic activities, right? So we say, oh, Varunadev, we need rain because we want that, we want this kind of thing. And then otherwise, we can say, worship other living beings. That means if my boss, if I worship him in the sense, like if I do all kinds of SEVA to him, then it will benefit me. Like that. we've seen this in our 14th chapter also. Those who are in Rajoguna, Yaksha Rakshasas, they will worship. Those who are in Tamoguna, Bhuta Pretas. Those who are in Sattva-guna, Devatas, right? So that's the same thing is being reiterated here. So they're saying, so if they're in Tamoguna or Rajoguna, they'll do either living beings or Devatas or something for cosmic activities, because they have a desire to have material benefit. Or benefit for women, benefit for wealth, benefit for power, benefit for progeny, whatever these reasons. So they are made, whenever you have a material desire, this is how you worship. But when you have a spiritual desire, then your worship will be different. So again, they're emphasizing on how the worship should be. It should not be geared towards materialistic things. Okay, so I hope that is clear. And the next one, 28th and 29th shlokas. Vasudeva Paraveda, Vasudeva Paramakha, Vasudeva Parayoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, Vasudeva Param Jnanam, Vasudeva Param Tapa, Vasudeva Paro Dharmo, Vasudeva Paragati. So in these all these scriptures, the ultimate object is Vasudeva, Sri Krishna, the Deva the Deva. The purpose of performing any yagna is to please him. Here, yagna means not the yagna where we sit in front of the fire and then say all the mantras and then, swaha, swaha will be dropping things into the yagna. That is normal yagna, of course. But here yagna, the meaning of yagna is more than that. Anything that we do without any desire for the pratifal, without any pratifala apeksha, right? Without any desire for a benefit, if we do it to please the Lord, then it becomes yagna, right? We've seen this in Bhagavad Gita. So with no pratifala apeksha, if you do an act just to please the Lord, then it becomes yagna. So that is the purpose of performing yagna, is to please the Lord. That is why you don't have to sit in front of a fire and then you don't have to say all the mantras and do all that. Even if any small task that we do, if we do it with the intention of pleasing the Lord, it becomes yagna. So how simple is that, right? The yagna is so simple. Any act to please him becomes a yagna. So that is the purpose of any act. Yoga means realizing the Lord is yoga. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by him only. That means anything that comes to us is given by the Lord. It may be, we may think it's good, we may think it's bad, we may think it's profit, we may think it's loss, but God knows. So anything is God's prasad for us. So any result that we get from the action is a prasad from the Lord. It's a reward from him. We may think it's bad, but it's also a reward because he has given it to us. So he is the supreme knowledge. He is the severe austerities are performed. Any severe austerities that we do, upavas or whatever it is, everything is to know the Lord, is to realize the Lord. Religion means, that means dharma. What is dharma? Rendering loving service to the Lord is dharma. We have seen before. Savai Pumsham, in that shloka, it says, the love towards Adhokshaja is the dharma for all mankind. So that's what they're saying here. Dharma is rendering loving service to the Lord because he is the supreme goal of life. We have a life. Luckily, we have a human life. The goal of our life is to realize the Lord. This human life is the one which helps us realize the Lord. So the goal of the life is to realize the Lord. That's what this shloka is saying. So the purpose of any act is to please him, and he is the one who gives us any result. I mean, based on the way we perform the action. He just doesn't give us result as he likes. He has a rule of law. So depending on how we do it, we get the result. He gives the result. So he is the supreme knowledge. Anything that we do is to know him, they're saying. And dharma means loving God. So when you have that pure love for the Lord, automatically we will have pure love for all mankind. That is the quality of the love for God. When a person becomes so pure that he loves God for no reason, continuously, ahaidukai apratihatakai, apratihata, we saw that. If he loves God like that, he becomes so pure, all the bad qualities will disappear. So naturally, he enjoys and he finds happiness in everybody's happiness. So that is how pure a pure devotee becomes. So this is the next shloka telling about that. And then in shloka 30, सएवादं ससाजाग्रे भगवानात्ममायया सदसद्रूपया चाशौ gunamayo gunavibuhu. So in the beginning of creation, the God in his divine position created the energies of cause and effect by his own internal. Now they're saying about his marginal energy, his internal energy, all these things. So Bhagavan, the Lord created in the beginning of the creation itself, when he created the universe, he created the energies of cause and effect. How? By his own internal energy. The cause and effectual energies required for the creation were also created by him. He is unaffected by the qualities of the material modes. We have seen this. He has created the three modes, but he is not affected by those three modes. His existence, his form, his activities, everything existed before the material creation itself. God did not come with the creation. He was already there. That's the reason he is able to create the creation. So his form, his existence, his activities, everything existed before this creation. He is all spiritual. So that means we've seen all his qualities, right? So one of those is all spiritual and has nothing to do with the qualities of the material world. He is above the qualities of the material world. He is above the three modes, sattva, rajas, tamo, gunas. So these that's what this sloka is emphasizing again, which are qualitatively distinct from the spiritual qualities. So the material qualities, the sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, are not like God's pure qualities, even though they are his own, and they're also part of the Lord's energy, but they're not part of his gunas. He is above those gunas. That's the point there the shloka is trying to make. These sattva, rajas, tamo gunas are the creation of the Lord. They're part of his internal energies, but he's above those gunas. He's not affected by these gunas. Taya vilasite svashu guneshu gunavaniva antah pravista abhati vijnanena vichrumbhitaha. After creating this material substance, Vasudeva expands himself. So now they're saying he created with those sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, he has created the material universe. After that, what happened? He expands himself and he enters into that universe. Although he is within the material modes of the nature and appears to be one of the created beings, he is always fully enlightened in his transcendental position. So the Lord created the universe. He has put his energies, which are sattva, rajas, tamo gunas, into this universe, and then he has also himself entered this universe. But even though he entered, he is not within the material energies. He is not in the he is not affected by the material world, by the sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. So even though he appears to be one of the created beings, he is fully enlightened in his divine position. So Lord Krishna was here, but he is not affected by any of these material modes. He is fully enlightened. यदा हि अवहितो वह्नि दारुष्वेक स्वयोनिषु Naneva bhati visvatma bhuteshu cha tada puman. So the Lord, as a super soul, pervades all the things, just as how fire permeates the wood, and so the Lord also permeates into everything. Though he is the absolute one without a second, he appears to be of many varieties, but he is the absolute one without a second. There is none other than the Lord. But he may be in so many varieties, which means what? Everything we see has the Lord's energy in it. Otherwise, it won't function. The body is there. If there is no Paramatma in it, the body is not going to function. The tree is there, the mountain is there, the animal is there, there is a fish, there is a bird, there is a human being. None of these would function if God's energy is not present. That is what they're saying. He appears to be of many varieties. He may be in the variety of an animal, a bird, a tree, or a person, but he is the absolute one without a second. There is none other than the Lord. There may be so many forms of him, but he is absolute one energy. असौ गुणमयैर्भावैर् सूक्ष्मेन्द्रियात्माभिः स्वानिर्मितेषु निर्विष्टो भुङ्क्ते भूतेषु तद्गुणान्. So he enters into the body of all the created beings. So he enters into people, he enters into insects, into birds, into animals, into trees, into everything, right? Who are influenced by, so all these beings that he is entering into, we are all influenced by modes of the by the three modes, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, and causes them to enjoy the effects of these modes by the subtle mind. So this is how all the creation works. So he enters, and then we all enjoy the three modes, and then we enjoy the effects of these three modes with our mind, right? Subtle mind, like means subtle body, we say, right? Which is mind and which is our mind and intellect, right? So with our mind and intellect, we are enjoying the three modes, and then we are leading this life. So that's what they're saying. So he enters into the body. So if we are able to enjoy, if we are able to experience anything, that's because of the energy of the Chaitanya that God is giving, putting in all of us. He's entering into everything in the form of Chaitanya. That's what he says in Bhagavad Gita also, right? He says that Parashakti is the supreme energy, which is Chaitanya, that which is all over this universe. It's in everything in the universe. Whereas his little inferior Shakti is the outer form, right? So that's what they're saying. So he enters into everything as Parashakti, which is his superior energy, and he makes everything work, everything function. भाव्यति एष सत्त्वेन लोकान् वैलोकभावना लीलवातारानुरतो देवातिर्यनरादिषु. So the Lord maintains all the planets too. So these planets are inhabited by devatas, by men and lower animals. That means all the three worlds, right? We call all the 14 lokas, we shorten them and we say mullokas. That means the top lokas, the middle loka, which is earth, and then the bottom lokas, which are Atala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala lokas, right? So the three lokas. So the Lord maintains all the planets inhabited by God, devatas, which are the top lokas, men, which is the earth, and then lower animals, which is the bottom world, right? So he is there maintaining all this, assuming the roles of incarnations, because he keeps incarnating. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever dharma declines, the Lord appears. So he performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness. So why does he arrive? To paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam, right? Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. So he comes whenever dharma goes, and to save the good people and to punish the bad people. So that's what this sloka is saying. He performs pastimes to reclaim those in the mode of pure goodness. He assumes the role of incarnations. So basically, that is the last shloka. So basically, it kind of told us how we can come into bhakti form. When you come into bhakti form, how pure you become and how all your bad qualities are gone, and how you finally establish contact with the Lord by becoming pure. Because when do you establish contact with anything? Can oil and water mix? No. Only when the nature, the qualities are the same, we can mix two things. So if you get the qualities of the Lord, which is going beyond the three modes, sattva, rajas, tamo, guna, that is the nature of the Lord. That is going beyond the three natures means having that pure nature, having that pure love, no negative qualities, right? God doesn't know what Kam, Krodh, Modh, Mad, Matsarya is, right? So he's above all those things. He's above Sattva Guna also. He's in pure Sattva, pure love. So that pure love, when somebody gets to that point, that's when they get into contact with the Lord. This is the nature of the Lord. Knowing God, realizing God is to understand it with experience, the nature of the Lord. When not by listening, not by reading, not by hearing, but by experiencing it ourselves. That is when we understand the God. We understand the nature of the God. That is when a person can go in contact. This is the nature of the God when they're in contact with the Lord, with that pure love. So basically, that's what they've explained. And then we've seen how God has created the universe and how he has entered everything in the form of Chaitanya. That's how they have explained the last shlokas. And in the last shloka, he says he comes to save the good people. He performs pastimes to reclaim the people that are in goodness mode. That means the people who are in sattva guna. So sadhu svabha. So paritranaya sadhu. That's what the last shloka in second chapter says. So Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. That is the end of the second chapter. If we have any questions, we can see. Hopefully, I didn't take too much time. Just wanted to recap the first few shlokas so we'll have a continuity. And so, yeah, any questions? We'll see. If not, we can end the class. Hare Krishna. So I hope everybody understood at least
Yes,
to some
Mataji.
extent.
Very nice session, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thanks for recording. So,
Hare Krishna, Mataji. It was a very good session.
Mataji, thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam,
Hare Krishna
Mataji.
Mataji. Thank you Mataji. Hare
So
Krishna.
much, Mataji. Hare Krishna,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna,
Pranam.
Mataji.
Thank you Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare
you so
Krishna,
much.
Mataji.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Pranam. Thank you.
Krishna, Radhika Mataji. So we can end the session then.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Mataji, I just have a few admin things to clarify.
Sure.
So is it okay if I just continue and
Yes,
yeah?
yes, Mataji. Please
Sure.
go ahead. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I'll stop the live though. Hare